Dear ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here tonight. This is the last event of this conference on Afghanistan, the screening of the film Das fünfte Rad, or The Fifth Wheel, initiated by Robert Schuster and filmed by the women of the Simorgh-Theater. Before we start the film, I would like to introduce the three women that are on the stage tonight. Monireh Hashemi is the founder of the Simorgh-Theater and has been working as a playwright, director, actress, and activist, and has been living in exile in Sweden since 2013. She does not appear in the movie, and she will also act as an interpreter for the other two women in the question part. Zainab Quadiri is one of the actresses of the Simorgh-Theater, as well as a writer and editor, and she launched Shirin, an artistic and literary magazine. She is in Germany since now 10 days and is now completing an EUME fellowship working on the ongoing genocide of the Hazara minority in Afghanistan. Mazuma Adel has written and directed educational plays for the Simorgh-Theater and has worked with the American-born theater for social-cultural projects in women prisons in Herat. She has been in Germany for 3 months, and she is now working in a research project at the Ernst Busch School on the culture and clothes of the Hazara minority. He is not here tonight, but still played an important role in making this film. Robert Schuster is the initiator of the short movie, as well as a professor for theater directing. He founded in 2016 Kula, an experimental artistic company that brings together artists from many different countries. So we're now going to watch the movie that is about 35 minutes long, and then we'll have some questions with the woman on the stage tonight. Thank you very much. So, first of all, sorry for the small technical mishaps, but I think that the most important thing, which is the powerful message of the film, still was delivered without any problems. Welcome back to the stage, the three women of the Simorgh-Theater that are going to be discussing with us tonight. I wanted to start this discussion by thanking all of you for making this film, for sharing this story, your story, with all of us, and for bringing to the light the duress that women and artists are subjected to in Afghanistan and the repression they face just for existing and for making art a state of being that is sadly not an isolated case in the world. I will now begin a series of questions, and after that we'll open the floor to questions from you, the public. For my first question to all of you, Monireh, Zainab, and Masuma, I wanted to go back to the very last words of the film. We are alive and we have hope. We promised our dreams that we would achieve them. after everything that you've been through, do you still have hope?
سوالی که مطرح کردنی هست که با تمام سختی ها و مشقات و مشکلاتی که در فیلم نمایش داده شد و شما زندگی که سختی هایی که در اون سپری کردین و برمیگرده به جمله‌ای که در داخل فیلم استفاده شده بود، ما زنده هستیم و امیدوار، ما به رویاهایمان قول رسیدن داده ایم. رابطه شما، ارتباط شما با این جمله چی هست؟ آیا بعد از تمام اتفاقاتی که افتاده شما همچنان امیدوار هستین؟
با سلام خدمت همه حاضرین. خب این فیلم بخش کوچیکی از اون سختی هایی بود که ما طی مدت طی کردیم، کشیدیم، تحمل کردیم. من فکر میکنم ما خیلی سختی کشیدیم، شب و روزهای سخت زیادی رو پشت سر گذاشتیم تا به اینجا رسیدیم و این فرصت برای ما مهیا شد تا بتونیم آینده را خیلی خیلی بهتر از گذشته بسازیم و از فرصت‌هایمان برای پیشرفت خودمان و بقیه دخترای افغانستان استفاده بکنیم.
Hi to everyone. I'm really glad to be here at your presence. The film that you have seen, the struggles, the problem, that was very small part of what we had to go through, small percentage of that. We had very dark days and dark nights. But we are happy to be here and have this opportunity and chance to build the future much better than the past. And use this opportunity to and build our own, work on our own development, build our own strength, and also be an assist to help girls and women who are still in Afghanistan.
Hallo, guten Tag, guten Nacht. من معصومه که هستم، معرفی کردن. خیلی خوشحال هستم که در جمع شما هستم. سوالی که منیره جان از ما کردن، من واقعا فکر میکردم، صراحتاً بگم، فکر میکردم تا وقتی در افغانستان هستم باید خیلی تلاش کنم و اگر به جایی مثل آلمان، جرمنی به اصطلاح برسم، شاید خیلی از آرزوهای من انگار خودش بیایه، یعنی فکر مثل اتوماتیک بیایه. ولی الان که اینجا رسیدم فکر میکنم وظیفه من خیلی سنگین تر از قبل شده. من الان فقط معصومه نیستم. من به جای شاید یک جماعتی از زن دیگه فکر کنم، من دارم گپ میزنم، چون تمام هموطنای من سختیایی شاید از من بیشتر کشیده. من یک جزء خیلی کوچیکش هستم. باید تلاش کنم بیش از حد کنم، یعنی بیشتر از چیزی که من خودم فکر میکنم.
Hi everyone, I'm very happy to be here. I should tell you frankly that as long as I was in Afghanistan, I did believe that I had to work so hard and to be able to reach somewhere, to be someone. But I always had this imagination that if I come to a Western land, like example Germany, then all my dreams and wishes would come automatically to me, asking me like to fulfill them. But it hasn't happened because I feel now I have a bigger responsibility, because there are lots of women who had more difficult life than me, and receiving this opportunity to be here, I think I'm the voice of all those women who are left behind, living in that context, and I do my best to use this opportunity. Thank you. So if I go to the question that if do I still have hope? Yes, I do. My mom used to say, Sorry. My mom used to say that, or still she says that, the world is built upon dreams. What Taliban are trying to do now, what the fundamentalists, the religious people have been trying to do, is to take away women's dream. And we have fought so long, we have come so far, and we are not willing to let them to get what they want. We don't want them to get our dreams. And of course, in this situation, when Taliban have the authority, all the control, women's voices are trapped within their houses under the burqa, and some of them are not even allowed to share anything from their lived experience because it's such a taboo. So for me, is that hope is what drives us to think better, to think differently, and to build another future that all of us have been dreaming for these years that we worked in Afghanistan, and we were trying to build a democracy that falls so easily. And for me, my hope comes from being able to share more women's stories. If Taliban is today here in Afghanistan, if the world is talking about the most brutal terroristic group, then I think we have another opportunity to tell what is happening in Afghanistan, where they come from, what is this, the sources of their ideology. And I think we should not be afraid of that. And for me, is this a period for women to speak loudly? Then I think that is that period. And I take that hope in it. Despite all the darkness, yes, I do have the hope, because it's the time that we build a different narrative, a just narrative for all of us.
All right, thank you so much for those answers. My second question is also for you, Monireh. Being a woman and an artist was always a political act for you, but I wanted to ask you, what were your motivations, what were you trying to achieve or to build when you founded the Simorgh-Theater, and what was your relationship like with the other women in the group in those early days of the theater?
I was born in Iran as an Afghan refugee to an Afghan parents. So I never identified as an Iranian, but I was born there. And coming to Afghanistan, I had no idea how it's going to look like for me, a family which is so religious, so conservative, and what is going to add into my life. But when I came to Afghanistan, I realized as a refugee, I did not have so many rights, so many opportunities. But as an Afghan woman in a land where it's the most dangerous place for a woman to be, still I have few choices and few options. And one of them was that to go for my dreams. I started acting in film at the end of early 2004. And I was working with a theater and film group, and I realized that I was very excited. When I came to Afghanistan, the only thing I knew was the clashes within the Hazara community. But I had no idea in the bigger Afghanistan, there are lots of discrimination against people, different groups have against each other. And I have no idea that as a woman coming, or as a younger coming from a Hazara community, I am going to face those discrimination, those harassment, those prejudice on a daily basis, which is supposed to be normal for us as women. So when I started filming, I realized that I have no place, because I'm just a sexual object for abuse, because all the male colleagues were looking as a Hazara girl who can satisfy them with all their lust and all their requests. Going through lots of difficulties, I remember that maybe I should tell this story just to clarify what is the situation for a woman in Afghanistan to do art. After a few months that I was working with this theater group, one day my mother woke me up, probably 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning, and she was whispering that, Monireh, wake up, there are things that I need to show you. And I woke up and she shows me lots of letters that she has picked up from the yard, from our yard. And I'm opening these letters and I'm reading them, and in all of them it's written that Monireh is a loose woman, girl. She is in a relation with many men. She is a shame to the neighborhood. She is pregnant. And if you, the family, take care of this shame, it's okay, otherwise we will act on it. My mom and I were so scared, we decided that we are not going to share these letters, so we burned them away. 1 week later, my grandmother, my father's side, came again with lots of letter and then showed the letter to my father. And I'm shaking, and I know that my father have never been the fond of me doing acting. And reading these letters, what will be his reaction? My mom and I looking at each other and like silently trying to communicate what to do. And in that moment, I took the initiative and I stood up for myself and said that I don't know who has written this letter, but whoever was that was a coward, because they did not dare to come here and look me in the eyes and tell that you are the loose woman, you are the whore, you're the prostitute, you do this and that, and it's against our culture and tradition and religion. And instead, they cowardly wrote a letter. So if you agree with this, then that's your problem, because I'm your child. You have trained me. What do you believe in me? And that was the day that I left home and decided to go for whatever is waiting outside for me. And I hear that someone is running after me, and I'm thinking, God, is it anyone going to hit me with a stone? Is it somebody hitting me with a stick or something? And I just saw my father, who was crying, and told, I know that you won't listen to me, because I was not listening to him. I was always listening to my mom. But then he said, I brought your mom, so look at her tears. Can you please not go today? I won't stop you from dreaming big, but not today. That day, I went back home, but for 3 months, I locked myself inside home because I was not dare to go out. This made me to think, what is that place which is safe for Afghan women, especially young girls who are coming from minority groups, to go there, to explore their hopes, their dreams and art, and express themselves in one of those mediums. And that was when I co-founded Simorgh Film Association of Culture and Art, where we producing film and also giving workshop filmmaking classes to young girls and boys. And Masuma and Zainab was one of our students who took part in these classes. So it is really difficult to show or depict the process, or which difficulties Afghan artists, women artists are going through. But the fight is not only in the street. The fight starts from home, with the father, with the brothers, with the uncle, with the cousins, with every man who somehow think that they have the right to control your body, control your thought, control who you are and decide for you. And in that sense, it is very difficult to work as an artist, as an actress in Afghanistan, where the first person, people in the family, especially the male member of the family, looking at you as a bad woman. And so for me, when I was working, I was trying that, to connect with the families. First, identify those girls or those who are coming to Simorgh and want to be an artist, and also create a close relation with the families, so they know what their young girls and boys are doing, instead of listening to all the rumors which are coming from the people who have no other thing than their agenda of silencing women, of putting fuel in this structural silence, supporting that structural silence. So for me, art have been always political, because from the time we decide to get out of home, we are doing a political act. We are going against the people who want us to stay at home, to give birth to kids, to take care of the man, to do all the duties that we women. For me, it has been from the beginning, because I knew that what this platform means, because I could see how people are scared and afraid of that. Yeah, I think I get so far from the question. I'm sorry if I have been just blubbing, but
No worries. No worries at all. Thank you so much. So I have a third question, this time for Zainab and Mazuma. Robert Schuster suggested this text from Bertolt Brecht, Les Bourgs für Stadtbewohner, as a red thread of the movie, and you've worked with it. But Brecht is not necessarily an author we would think to connect with your situation. So what did it mean for you to use that text in German to kind of illustrate your situation?
سوالی که مطرح کردنی بود که روبرت شوستر این شعر برشت پیشنهاد داد و همون رقمی که خیلی خط داستانی فیلم دنبال میکنه. معمولا این بخش چیزی هستش که ما نمیتونیم، هرچند نویسنده آلمانی هست، ما نمیتونیم مستقیما با شنیدن یا با شعر ارتباط مستقیمی باش برقرار بکنیم. برای شما استفاده از این متن چه مفهوم، چه معنایی داره و چطوری وضعیت و شرایط زندگی شما را به نوعی نشان میده؟
خب زمانی که ما این مستند را می ساختیم، فیلم برداری می کردیم، مصادف بود با آمدن طالبان و حکومت طالبان و شروع خانه تلاشی ها. هر کدام از ما به نحو همینطور که در مستند هم شما دیدین سعی داشتیم که اسناد هنریمان را، چه سرتیفیکیت هست، چه عکس هست، چه فیلم هست، پاک بکنیم یا اونا را از بین ببریم یا یک جای پنهان بکنیم. و من فکر میکنم که ما خیلی احساس نزدیکی داشتیم با این شعر برشت که میگفت سرنخ‌ها رو پاک کن. ما به هیچ کسی اعتماد نداشتیم، حتی دوستان نزدیکمان دوست نداشتیم که با اونا رفت آمد داشته باشیم، مبادا که اونا در رابطه با فعالیت‌های گذشته ما به طالبان حرفی بزنن یا برای ما و خانواده ما خطرساز بشه. من فکر میکنم ما خیلی رابطه نزدیک هر کدام از ما با این شعر در همون زمان داشتیم.
When they started to record these videos, these clips, was parallel to the time when Afghanistan collapsed, and the Taliban coming to the power, and also it was a period where there were lots of house search, and we were trying to destroy any artistic work or documents that we had. If there was any certificate, if there was any picture, anything, we were been thinking how we can destroy them, where we can hide them, how we can clean them. So there was a very close connection to the poem from Brecht that do not leave any sign, and it came to the point where we cut connection with friends because we did not know who to trust. Maybe someone wanted to just report on them, on their artistic activities, or maybe the relatives. So it create a very strong connection between our situation and what is portrayed in the text.
من خیلی خوشحال هستم که از همین فیلم، همین ویدیو یک سبب شد که من با یک نویسنده به نام بریشت آشنا شدم. این متنی که برای ما فرستاده بودن من بارها خواندم، دست فیلم دقت بست، یعنی همیشه میخواندم و اینی که میخواندم انگار دمو زندگی، دمو موقعیتی که من بودم با چشم ها میدیدم، یعنی حس میکردم. جایی که میگفتن سر نخها رو پاک کو، جایی که میگفتن حتی اسمت از روی قبر پاک کو. یک چیز جالبی که من دمی نوشته ها خیلی رسیدم، این فقط ما نبودیم که ما سر نخها رو پاک میکردیم، علاوه بر از این دشمنان از ما داشتن کوشش میکردن که ما رو حذف کنن. فرض مثال من رفته بودم زیارت سخی، دیدم سنگ قبرها رو کلن تراشیده بودن، هیچ اسمی نبود از روی سنگ قبرها رو کلن پاک کرده بودن با سنگ چرخ. یعنی خودش یک پاک کردن ما و یکی همین پاک کردن هزارها، کلن منطقه هزارها بود و یکی کوچ اجباری، اینا همه خودشان حذف میشن، حذف میکنن. یعنی یکی ما خودمان برای خود سر نخ پاک کنیم به خاطر این هسته که جان ما نجات بدیم و این هم که دشمن ها هم میخواین پاک کنن، یعنی ما رو میخواین کلن نابود کنن. یعنی خیلی این برای از من خیلی سخت بود وقتی که نوشتای برشت خواندم، رفتم نوشتای دیگه رو خواندم، یعنی یک جوری هم حالت التیام بخش بود، آرامش بخش بود. این که میگفت ما بیشتر از کشورهای خود کفش عوض کردیم، یعنی من خودم در موقعیت فیلم بودم، 3 ماه 6 خانه عوض کردم فقط به خاطر که جان خود جان بچهای خود نجات بدم.
بقیش میتونی بعدا میگم ترجمه بکنم. It became a little bit long. I hope I remember everything. I'm really glad and happy that this documentary introduced me to Brecht and his writing. I read the text over and over. I was repeating that text all the time with me, and every time it felt that I'm leaving the text. I'm leaving everything that Brecht is describing within this poem. And I was also thinking about this, that we are not the only one that trying to clean, how do you say it in German?
خراشیدن، سنگا رو میخراشیدن روی سنگ قبرها رو.
Now that removing the signs or the yes, thank you, cleaning the traces, because we were doing that to save us, to save our family, to survive. But at the same time, the Taliban were doing the same thing in the city. They, in the areas that they were living, it was more Hazara area, and they were removing the carved name from the gravestones. With this, they were also removing everything, all the signs from the traces from the city, from the graveyards. They were also trying to erase us, that we existed here, we lived here. But also reading the text was very therapeutic for me. Sorry, now I need to. بعد گفتیم که التیام بخش بود متن، دلیلش ما وقت نکردم بنویسم.
به خاطر این بود که مثلا هر وقت متن برشت میخواندم، این متن که خواندم کنجکاو شدم، متنای دیگه شرم خواندم، زندگی نامش خواندم که یک نویسنده هست، یک شاعر هست که در دوران مهاجرت این متنا را نوشته. خب من در اون موقعیت بودم، خواندم باز متنای دیگه که مثلا نوشته بود ما بیشتر از کشورها کفش های خود را تبدیل کردیم. من در اون موقعیت بودم، خب 3 ماه 6 خانه تبدیل کرده بودم به خاطر ترسی که از دیر داشتم که بچهای خود از دست بدم یک وقتی خدایی نکرده. چون خانه‌ای که ما رفته بودیم یک جای پناه بردیم، جایی بود که از افراد علیپور بود، اسلحه داشتن، اینا ما نمیدانستیم. بعد اینا به ما گفتن که حالا که آمدین
Okay,
خوش آمدین، ولی خب خانه در خطر است، ما مجبور شدیم بریم جای دیگه. تبدیل میکردیم.
Yeah, generally that this caused me to read more from Brecht and realize that I'm exactly in the same situation. I'm on the move, I'm on the run. And as he said in one place that we have changed more shoes than our country, and she says that in 3 months she has changed 6 times, so I'm coming back to the question. It was, definitely that it was showing how connecting to this text, because it was showing the exact feelings that we have been going through and the hardship that we were living.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before we open the floor to questions from the audience, I just wanted to give you the opportunity, if you wanted to take the microphone and to express freely if there is anything you want to add on top of the answers you've already given, if there is something more that you want to say.
پیش از اینکه مایک رو برای مشرفی‌ها بدم، سوالی مسئله‌ای هست که شما خودتون می‌خواید اضافه بکنید؟
اه، 25 سپتامبر که روز گذشته بود مصادف بود با 127مین سال روز شروع نسل کشی هزاره ها در افغانستان توسط امیر عبدالرحمن خان که یک پاکسازی قومی، یک نسل کشی فجیع در تاریخ 300 سال گذشته افغانستان بوده. امیر عبدالرحمن خان با فرمانی که صادر کرد
25th September is the remembrance day of the Hazara genocide, which happened 127 years ago. Historic, systematic ethnic cleansing, which was one of the largest and the most genocide which happened in the 300 years of Afghanistan history.
امیر عبدالرحمن خان با صدور این فرمان 70% از مردم هزاره را قتل عام کرد، زنها را به بردگی گرفتند، مردها را کشتند و از کودکان به عنوان غلام و کنیز در خانه های بزرگان قومی استفاده کردند. زمین ها غارت شد، اموال هزاره ها بدون هیچ پرسش و پاسخی تصرف شد.
In 1880, Amir Abdurrahman, with issuing the war against Hazara people, he caused 62% of Hazara people to be massacred in 1890, only between 1890 to 1893, 62% of Hazara people were massacred. And Hazara people were robbed of their lands, of their homes, of their possessions, and their girls and women were sold as slaves in markets both in Afghanistan and outside Afghanistan.
و این نسل کشی متاسفانه تا امروز هم به شکل‌های مختلف توسط حکومت‌های مختلف ادامه داشته. زن‌های ما هنگام زایمان در شفاخانه به ضرب گلوله کشته شدند، کودکانمان در مکاتب متاسفانه توسط حملات انتحاری از بین رفتند، عروسی‌های ما به کشتارگاه تبدیل شد و همچنان گروه طالبان و بقیه گروه‌های تروریستی هم فکر اونا در حال کشتن و از بین بردن مردم هزاره هستند.
This genocide is still going on. Our mothers, women have been killed during the childbirth. Children have been killed at these schools. Brides have been, the weddings have been turned into a slaughter. This genocide this atrocities is continuing.
من میخوایم امروز از طریق این تریبون خواهش بکنم از همه کسایی که امروز حضور دارن اینجا که یک بار برند سرچ بکنن در مورد هزاره ها و ای که واقعا یک عده در حال ازی هستن کوشش میکنن که نسل کشی هزاره ها را انکار بکنند و من خواهش من این هست که کسایی که اینجا حضور دارن همصدا شوند با مردم هزاره افغانستان و تا ای که ما بتانیم همین کشتار هزاره ها رو به عنوان نسل کشی از سوی جامعه جهانی به رسمیت بشناسیم.
Today I would like to use this stage and ask you people to get to join us in this movement where we can acknowledge the Hazara genocide which started in 1880 and is still going on, because there are lots of people who are working so hard to deny it, to say that it has not happened, and we need a bigger international movement and union to be able to both stop the genocide which is going on, but also recognize it. Thank you. Okay, for me, just to the last words, I talk a lot about my mom because she's my hero. She's the one who taught everything to me. Coming from a very religious, restricted family, she was never a woman who lived all her life in jail. She never looked like a woman who has lived her life in jail. She had lots of hopes and dreams, and she always said that if I could not reach my dreams, I give you the chance, I give you the time and support to do that. And when I was so upset and angry with the society, with the culture, with the tradition, with the government, and I was yelling and crying that I cannot go on, Mom, it's like too much. She was telling me that in different age, that she used to call me Mom. She said, Mom, you're a child, you're a kid, you have no voice. You are a girl, you're going to be a woman, you're going to have no voice, because that's the society, that's how the patriarchy wants us to be. But there is a chance when you grow up that you find your voice, you find your agency, and you will stand for that. And whenever you get that opportunity, then you should yell, then you should scream, then you should make all the noises that you can to be able to change something. And today, for me, sitting here, it's a huge thing, because I know where I come from and I know where I'm going to. So, but I'm going to use this opportunity, this stage, to say that our people, of course, they're traditional, they're religious, they're conservative. But what is our role as human to help that society to change? I'm here to break the structural silence, the forced narrative which a religious, a traditional, a fundamentalist society want to give us. I'm a woman and I want to draw my lines, I want to draw my dreams and nobody else. And for me today, being here, I know that I have achieved a little bit. Today I am here and I'm going to give a voice to the stories that never came out of those women's heart and mind who suffered lots of difficulties, lots of hardship, but could never speak about them. And for me, as the last word, it's hard to build a just narrative because the world is not just. The world always deny, always oppress women's narrative, whatever story that is. But everything is hard to build from the scratch. And I think if once again we are in that bottom line where we have to begin everything from the scratch and convince our society, our traditional religious society, that we as women, we have right, we exist, we breathe, we feel, we get upset, we get hopeful, and that's what it is. And but also at the same time, we have stories that we would like to share without being judged by anyone, without being point finger at. And those stories are important. And in the world that we live, which is dark, every woman's story is a star. And I think I would like to invite and encourage women and also our society to open and embrace woman narrative with all its difficulty, with all its hardship, but just embrace it. So one day, a patriarchal society like Afghanistan have more tolerance towards women who want to talk about themselves, talk about their thought, and talk about their bodies. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that powerful message. Before we open the floor to questions from the audience, I would like to call to the stage
جمله کوتاه میخوام من حرفی که الان میخوام بگم یه هسته که طالبان هیچ وقت اصلاح نمیشه، یعنی باید دی فکر نباشیم که طالبان اصلاح شود، چون فرصت بود دی چند سال که بود خیلی برنامه ها شد باید اینا اصلاح میشد، برنامه های طرحهای زیادی بود، ولی الان فقط باید ما در فکر حذف طالبان باشیم، چون اگر حذف نشن ما حذف میشیم. این فقط من یک خواهش کوچیک هست که میگم هر کدام به نوبه خود مخالف دیدگاه طالبان باشیم، یعنی خود شما دیدگاه طالبان مطالعه کنید اصلا با هیچ بشری برابری نمیکنه. همین خواهش کوچیک داشتم.
Taliban will never change. God, sorry, I forgot. I'm really sorry. I think my translator part is one more word. Taliban will not change, and we all, with all our differences, I think we are. Taliban's ideology is quite a lot with contradicting with what we believe. So the only option for us is to remove Taliban, because if we do not remove them, they will remove us.
Thank you so much, and sorry for not seeing that you still had something to say. I will now call Uta Plate to the stage, who also has something that she wants to deliver to the audience. Thank you so much.
Vielen Dank für diese Bühne und vielen Dank für eure Ohren und Herzen. Mein Name ist Uta Plate und mit Robert Schuster, der schon oft erwähnt wurde, mit Monireh Hashemi aus Schweden, Karlstad, sind wir hier in Berlin 7 Leute, die die Frauen, die in ihrem Verstecken leben, versuchen nach Afghanistan zu holen. Eine weitere in unserem Netzwerk ist Monireh Hashemi, die die Brecht-Texte auf Deutsch gesprochen hat. Sie ist Schauspielerin jetzt am Nationaltheater in Weimar und ich habe sie kennengelernt, als sie gerade aus Afghanistan fliehen musste mit ihren Schwestern und wir haben zusammen Theaterstücke entwickelt. Wir sind 7 Menschen, die versuchen, 12 Frauen des Theaters des Simorgh nach Deutschland zu holen. Masuma und Zainab sind jetzt endlich da. 2 andere Frauen sind auch endlich da. Wir machen erst eine Feier, wenn alle 12 es geschafft haben. Was machen wir? Wir versuchen, Stipendien zu entwickeln mit Stiftungen. Wir kontaktieren Menschen und sagen, diese Frauen wollen weiter studieren, sie wollen weiter forschen und arbeiten. Und in der Kombination von Studienplätzen und Stipendien können wir das Auswärtige Amt überzeugen, dass sie kommen können. Das heißt, wir werden, also du bist an der Ernst-Busch-Schule, du bist hier bei Academy in Exile. Es gibt noch Fariba, die in der Bauhaus-Universität in Weimar einen Studienplatz hat. Dann gibt es die Barat-Schwestern, die am Ende waren, die in der Akademie der Künste, sobald sie das Visa irgendwann haben werden, ist alles in den Sternen geschrieben. Dann gibt es das Theateraufbau Kreuzberg, was auch einer Afghanin ein Stipendium geben möchte. Was heißt das? Wir versorgen die Frauen aus der Ferne mit Prepaid-Karten, mit Geld zum Überleben. Dazu gehört auch, das wissen alle, die das schon mal durchgemacht haben, Menschen bestechen. Das heißt auch Visa zu besorgen, weil sie auch im Iran und in Pakistan leben müssen. Und wir müssen immer versuchen, bevor die Visa wieder ablaufen, dass sie neu kriegen. Wir bezahlen die Flüge. Wenn die Frauen ankommen, suchen wir gerade nach Wohnungen. Ihr könnt euch vorstellen, was das gerade in Berlin heißt. Und wir organisieren Deutschkurse und bezahlen die auch selber, weil sie ja nicht in das Asylverfahren reingehen, sondern wir haben uns verpflichtet, sie selber zu finanzieren. Das heißt, ich werde diese Plattform nutzen, um zu sagen, wer immer unser 7-köpfiges Netzwerk verstärken möchte, sei herzlich eingeladen. Ich habe oben Spendenaufrufe hingelegt. Wir brauchen Meldeadressen, wir brauchen Wohnungen, wir brauchen Menschen, die sagen, ich begleite dich zum Arzt. Und wir brauchen Menschen, die sagen, ich habe keine Zeit, aber ich gebe euch Geld. Wir brauchen Menschen, die sagen, weißt du was, einmal die Woche treffe ich mich mit dir und ich bringe dir ein bisschen Deutsch bei und du mir ein bisschen Farsi. All das und noch viel mehr ist möglich. Ich bin noch hier, wenn ihr uns ansprechen wollt, sehr gerne.
So to conclude, sort of, I wanted to thank first of all Monireh, Zainab and Masuma for sharing their stories, for speaking with us tonight on the stage. I wanted to thank all participants in this very impressive movie, the actors, the people that participated in bringing it to the stage and to the screen. I also would like to thank the Alice Schwarzer Stiftung and the French Embassy Berlin for the organization and hosting of this event. And finally, as conclusion words, I would like to cite Brecht, a sentence from the same collection that you had in the film that says, wenn Sie durchkommen, haben Sie mehr getan, als wozu ein Mensch verpflichtet ist. Or in English, if you make it through, you have done more than anyone is required to. Thank you so much.